There was a moment in my life where I made a decision and I was absolutely not ready for it. I wasn't qualified enough. I wasn't confident enough. And I wasn't even clear. I wasn't really fully clear on what that gets to look like. And everything inside of me wanted to wait. I wanted to wait till I felt ready. I wanted to wait till I had more clarity in the decision I wanted to make. And I wanted to wait until it kind of like makes perfect sense. Like everything was clear, but I did not wait. Mm-mm. And that decision changed the trajectory. Hey, I said the word right of my life. Oh, I get tongue twist when I say that. I'm not even going to try and attempt to say it again. But the course of my life because of that one decision. And so here is the question that I want to ask you. If readiness isn't a requirement, and what if decision was? Mm. Because stay with me, because what I would love, because I want by the end of this video, you might then realize that whatever you're waiting for, what is actually waiting for you. Yeah. Because this is the deal, right? When we go to this feeling of ready, aim, ready, ready, aim, ready, 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 aim, or let me see, I'm not ready. Actually, what does that actually feel like in a body? What does that look like? When we're okay, when this happened, when like this, then I would, this situation would, that overthinking, that analysis, that wanting the guarantee before we actually make the thing happen. All those things, oh my goodness, such a lie. We fed ourselves. Or when I'm ready, then I will move. When I am able to have sorted this and that and this bit out and this bit out, then I'll be able to do that thing. That totally the biggest lie that we've all fallen for and that we've all happened. I was recently having a conversation um, with a client, and the conversation was like, I want to take that next step, do that final thing so that I can have free to do whatever. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that I have this sorted out, make sure I'm ready for this. I'm like, I'm able to do this and do that, and then I'll be able to do that. Like, oh, okay. Hmm, hmm. But this is the thing in regards to making decisions. What we have to realize, which we've talked about in the previous videos before, is the state becomes before the strategy. You're thinking, oh, I need to get to that point of this has to happen, that happened. How are you in what's your state like? What's your emotional and physical state of wanting that? When I was told that I couldn't be an interpreter, and I felt okay, I guess I just need to do more training, or this is just going to be a hobby. Um, I guess this is not going to happen until I made that decision that I'm going to be that interpreter. That this is, I made it. I had no idea because they told me it could never be possible because of my condition, that this is not a thing. Until I made that, I then chose this, like, I made the decision, this is what's going to happen. Then the identity came first. Because now I said I was going to be that interpreter. Okay, who's that interpreter? What does that interpreter get to look like? So with that kind of um, saying, okay, this is my desire. It was now a case of, so what do you actually want? What does that thing get to look like? Knowing that this is how this is for me, knowing was like, okay, are there other interpreters out there? How do they roll? How do I want to be showcasing? How do I want to step up? How do I want to like be in this role, in this situation? When I made that decision, I know that, okay, I wanted to be someone who was sought after. I wanted to be somebody that my voiceover was just like, I was gonna say sought out again. I'm like, Nene, come on now. You have more vocabulary vocabulary than just the one phrase. But it was just more like I just wanted to be preferred. I wanted to truly understand. I didn't want to have like the angst of like, oh, I even wanted like a situation where they'd be like, oh, oh, you're the intent. Oh, I thought you were deaf. Kind of like scenario, kind of like that. I was recently speaking to a colleague and like, yeah, she felt the same way too. Um, so when you know this is what you want, so whatever that decision is, the person who makes that decision, what are they? How do they? What is it for them? What does that happen? Because once you have that state and embody the identity of, okay, this is how we roll, this is what we're showcasing, this is what it is, then the movement then creates the understanding when we start taking the action. Because what happens is the decision shapes the identity. Because we're in like once you've decided, that decision will give you the clarity you want because of in the movement, in the doing. Then you start understanding, oh, okay. Oh, I've done that. Okay. This, yep, yep, yep. Because it's not about, okay, we want to have whatever decision is that we're doing it regardless of like we don't have fear in that thing. But when we decide this is who I am being, this is what I am standing for, this is what flows for me, and somebody who decides who who are they, what do they do, how do they stand, how do they see, how do they communicate, how do they showcase, how do they embody themselves, how do you know? Once we figure out all those things, those how the whole oh my gosh, words don't want to come out today, but we're going to keep rolling with it. Because we're doing this, we're talking about this thing. Once we know that this is what we want for ourselves, because the reason why we're hesitating and making a decision, or one of the reasons, like we're feeling like we have to have this, we have to have that, we have to have do this one and do that one, and then I go to and then I'm like whatever. But in that movement, in that doing, in that taking that course point, because action comes, the action we're doing, that's what then creates the confidence. When we're now taking that steps, when we're now doing the motion, we're now moving with the understanding, and that movement then creates the confidence that is then showcased, and then we're now like we're going on, we're doing a thing, we're moving with clarity. We're like, oh, okay, we don't do it this way. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, this is how we're going to embody this, and this is how we're going. We're doing that. We're taking the course because then we start seeing the evidence afterwards. After we've made that decision, after we start moving and creating movement and having that, the action now bringing like, oh, okay, we did that. That wasn't bad. Okay, let's do that again and again and again. Let's do this. Let's do that. When we start having the evidence of like this is what's going on, the confidence follows the action, like we've said. We're now doing the thing that was said. And what people tend to confuse is like, oh, I want to be confident before I go and do the thing. No, baby. No, ma'am. No, sir. We're doing the thing, and then the confidence follows through, follows after the action, not the other way around. When we're in there. So making that decision, we start seeing that evidence of, okay, this is this, oh, we're on the right track. Okay, we get to do this. And then we're reframing. We're reframing that readiness, because the readiness is often the nervous system comfort. The nervous, because our body wants to keep us safe. It will now tell us, like, okay, we're not ready for this, we're not this. And in speaking with the colleague and finding out that, okay, I want to take that next step, but I feel like I need to do like all these things. It's that readiness. It's it's the feeling of the nervous system just wanting to be safe, didn't want any issues that might come across, that might happen. So because of that, let's do everything we can to keep us safe. Like the fight or flight thing, like no, we just want peace. We want calm. So for that, that's what starts showing up. That's what starts happening. Because when we're in that, oh, I'm ready, like, oh, I would, whatever, and we're not making that final decision. Because what happens when you make that decision, we start rewiring the identity that matches that person who acts like that, who does that thing, who goes for whatever it is that they want, who like does the thing. Because we've made that decision now, we start embodying someone who does that, who acts like that, who has that, who does the thing, because we've made that decision. But if we're like, oh, let me see, let me whatever that. There was a time like I wanted to, like, in the early stages of my daily streak of posting, and I wanted to, like, oh, like, what would be that lesson? Like what would people get in here? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Like, how can I was just going on and on until I just make the decision. You know what? We're doing this now. And in that doing, did knowing what to say become like, look, I've got this time now. And I didn't even make that decision. Situation made a decision for me. I knew that I had to leave the house a certain time to go and do work. And if I don't do this by this time, for the time scale and to do everything I need to do, that video for that day won't happen. So I'm like, okay, it's go time. Let's go. And I went for it. I did the thing. And even in that, like, okay, what we talk about, it just it just flowed. And the feedback from it, the comment or like whatever, I was like, it was just one of those, I just like, oh, we're just doing this because we had to. And because I had to, I was just like ingrained, like, okay, someone who has this time crunch, who has to do this thing, wants to deliver, wants to, let's go, let's give the value. So when we kind of like have to reassure our nervous system, and like this, we do this stuff. We this is kind of like what we do. And then in that way, because we've made that decision and we now know what it is that we want, and we start rewiring ourselves to suit that which we desire. Not feeling like, oh, we have to do this, we have to, no, no, no. We're rewiring ourselves. We're doing the work to help us get that movement going, getting that emotional state of like, okay, how do I want to feel? Okay, I'm not slouching, I'm not feeling, okay, what's the story we're telling ourselves? How do we see ourselves in doing this thing? How do I feel like I am capable, regardless of how the fear is showing up? Because the identity would work with with the fear. So it's not like, okay, there'll be no fear, but the identity we create through that will match the fear, whatever fear there is, because we've made the decision. So it's like we'll deal with it. We'll work with it. As long as we're aligning and working with our nervous system to showcase and do the thing, you know? And once we've now decided and now we've know what the identity we want, do we then start having that reps in? We start doing the the identity now. comes through the reps, the repetition of the conditioning, comes through the now we're doing this work to restore the nervous system, to build up this new identity we want for self, to get everything that which we want going, then we're able to build that muscle. Because if not, we would just go on and tell ourselves stories and tell ourselves things that, oh, this happened. Uh, I can't because this would why. And then what then happens is because we've not made that decision, we start then creating and start making meaning on the things that we don't want. When we really boil down to, okay, what's the why aren't we making a decision? It's just because our brain wants to keep us safe. Our nervous system doesn't feel calm. We're on guard. And so we're like, no, until we feel safer, until we are ready, then when you made a decision and then you have the identity and start rewiring yourself so that you then build up that belief for self, do the work to make sure that we are going through to achieve that which we want. We're creating and doing the reps in whatever it is. So with my client that was hesitant to move on because they wanted readiness in themselves to showcase them their ability for they carry on to do the thing. Certain things had to work in terms of repping and repeating, uh, reprogramming, encoding themselves to be the person who has made this decision, who has now followed through, who's now like, okay, now we get to do this. Now, this is someone like me, this is what we do. This is how we show up. This is what we're doing. Because if we don't, we will be in that loop of criticism, of like the self-loathing of this, and we'll be anchoring in that. But as long as we made that decision, this is how I'm going to show up. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm applying. This is what I'm taking on board. Whatever that is, making that decision is key. And once that decision is made, because you've made that decision, those the resources, opportunity, things start kind of falling in place to support you. So when I was in that place of, okay, I want to be this, and because I was told I couldn't, and now I'm saying this is what I'm doing, and then figuring out, okay, this is what this person tends to look like. And then it was now like someone who is that interpreter, how do they show up? Somebody who wants what they want, what's their thinking? By saying and repeating and like for me then I was like I was writing down what I wanted. I was writing it down every single day because it is something that I wanted to encode in myself. I wanted it to now be my new default mode network. I didn't want it to be, oh, we don't do that. Oh, like we can't, whatever. I wanted to be like, no, I'm the preferred interpreter. I get the jobs I want. And if I don't get the jobs, it means like I was being saved from something else. I believe there's abundance, there's enough job out there. There is no scarcity. Things like that, I kept repeating to myself. I kept conditioning myself. I kept embodying this. That when people would say, oh, there's no jobs out there. And in my head, like there's abundance. Like there is enough job. There is job for me. Oh, people, the agents, these people, they don't pay, they don't work. They pay what I asked for. They do that. But I had to, like this, being that interpreter, this is what it looks like for me. I get the jobs I apply for. And the ones that I don't get, my my creator's trying to save me from something. Uh, if not, I would have had like some issues, some headaches, some whatever. It is what it is. By doing that and conditioning myself. Because what tends to happen is when we've made a decision and we don't back it up and we don't let the subconscious mind follow through, because that's what runs the show. It has like, 95% of the decisions, everything is run through that. If that's not on board, then whatever decision we're making is not going to follow through. And that's why we need to work on that state. That's why we need to get that and code ourselves and rejig whatever that is. So now doing it, that internal work that is required for someone who shows up, someone who knows, someone who has the confidence, someone who does the thing, making that decision and then having that, okay, believe in self that yes, I am capable. Like if any obstacle comes in, we can resolve it. There is like pain, people go through pain, whatever situation, but I don't have to suffer through it. I don't have to make it mean anything to me. I don't have to like be like, okay, this is my news story. Like, no, this is how we roll. That's what needs work and needs that conditioning, that needs that follow through, being able to do that. Because when you like really think about it, what are the desires that you want and why are you delaying it right now? What is the delay on that thing? Or when this happened, if this, just draw a line on a stand. Say like, it's happening. This is what I want to do. Like I said, when I decided I was going to do this daily streak, and I'm thinking a whole year, how am I going to do? How do I even have words or things to talk about? How do I have stuff to follow through? I just knew that, imagine by the end of the year, how I'll be such great, how my storytelling will be like. I was just picturing me just being like I can't even think of any names right now, but I just knew, wouldn't that be great to just come up here? Because I always have this thing that when I'm with someone, like a friend or whatever, I can just, yeah, we're bantering, we're talking, but when I'm in this kind of like state, sometimes I'm like, ooh, okay, how do I explain this? And people are like, and you can see the faces and like, would it be great to be able to just be expressive and share and do the stuff. So yeah, so when I made this decision to show up here every single day, I didn't know how this was going to roll. I just knew I'm doing this too. I'm like, we're doing this. And I want to be a better storyteller. I wanted the opportunity to express myself so people can then build that know, like, and trust and be like, oh yeah, okay, Nana, you're my babe. Like, let's let's hang. Like those are the things that kind of like I really wanted to do. And YouTube being its own space equals like, let's see what happens. I had no idea what this gets to look like. I had no feeling of, oh, okay. th- oh, yeah. No, there was no plan. There was no structure. All I knew was I could be a better storyteller by the end of this. I could make it easier for people that want to touch base, work with me, find like, okay, I like, okay, now come and help me with this. Now come and get me accountable. Now help me get clarity exactly what this is. Because I see, I hear, I get it, but I want more. That was where I was kind of like heading and what was happening. And in that decision, when we make that decision, taking the action, doing the movement, and just seeing the evidence of like, oh, I was able to like speak for 8 minutes. I can do 10 now. Oh my goodness, I did 12. I did another 12. I did 10. And then celebrating is so key, I tell you, in this, like when we're seeing the evidence of like, because it reinforces it. and just doing it and take it and then course correct like okay, oh, when I'm like in this state, my ideas, oh, it's too late, I get tired, I've had it's happening. The clarity is coming in, the understanding on how this system works. Oh, okay, this is how you do a playlist. Okay, this is how you do it it's coming day by day. I'm like getting that clarity, getting the understanding of how this looks like, what this gets to be, how I show up here, what this ecosystem becomes because of the decision. If I was waiting till I've batch created content, or if I have, when I was less busy and I didn't have any other commitments, I was just having time for this, because I made a decision and because I'm now like this was going to happen, then figuring out what this gets to look like in my day-to-day life, how I can then fit this in, what that gets to look like, thinking, oh my gosh, how, what, now it just rolls. It's just something that I do. It's just something that it just feels as, yeah, part of my day now. And it's fun. And everyone around me knows it. Like, this is how it is. However, if I didn't do that now, I would still be like trying to figure out who am I, like, what's the messaging? Okay, I'm still doing this like 60-second thing and whatever. They're not getting it, they're not understanding. But I'm getting messages because they're watching and it's like, oh, I see. Okay, now this is what, and then I'm loving the DM conversations and this kind of like what's happening and da 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 da. Because now the clarity, oh, I see. Oh, can you support me with this? If I was still in that, okay, let's just wait till I have less time when this work is less demanding or this one happens, da, 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 da. I won't be in this situation of having this much clarity and having this much movement, having this much ability that, oh, no, no, you can put two sentences together and it makes sense. And other people think it makes sense too. And it's like, whoa, we are doing this. We did that because of the decision. There's this identity as someone that, yeah, I can tell me a story. I can really explain stuff and finding ways to simplify things or br- breaking it down and seeing what my strengths are and seeing what is working and what's not, and then getting the feedback of like, okay, then this, my goodness, you were like, do more. If I didn't start this thing, then this won't be a thing. Then the opportunity as well of, oh, can you come and speak to people on this? I saw your thing. I'm like, oh, you did. Thank you. Yeah, sure, I can. Ah. And then another speaking person. Now they're like, oh yeah, we're like, because of that decision, because I did that. So now reflecting and thinking, it's just do the thing. That's where I am right now. It's like, okay, is it easy? No. But is it worth it? Yes. But once that is done, then it just frees up the mind, the brain, you know? It's like, see, that's why like I'm trying to figure out now, like the decision of, like, when I see people like Jobs or I can't say his last name, the Facebook guy, other people, even this lady, her name's crossed my like lost my in my head, is they have taken the complexity of what do I wear to like, I just get a bunch of those shirts. I wear one every single day. I don't need to worry about what am I going to wear today. Because sometimes what has delayed me in showing up here is okay, what am I putting on? What are we wearing? How are we doing this? Especially when I'm like, I'm not going anywhere and I'm not going out for work, whatever. It's like, oh, what are we gonna wear? Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we're like, would this go together? So it's like, yeah, I'm on a decision fatigue on that one. I'm like, there must be, if you know any for ladies that could just be like, well, this outfit or like, and I'm like, yeah, we get rain or this color, but they've just made it easy for themselves. They don't have those stress in that area of like, oh, what do I get to wear? And it's the same is true for whatever it is that we're doing. Like once we just like decide and course correct and go for the thing, things blow, things happen, ideas, you know, just chime in. And that's the thing. And this is where I really want us to reflect and think that if you decide today, who would you be? I am Nene. We do this every single day. Remember, your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Bye for now.